Verstappen's race engineer advised him to attack Russell in the early lap. Knew Russell would be a threat. Norris finished qualifying on pole, but he didn't
Oh,
allow
oh
his
yeah.
advantage. He didn't allow his advantage to really tell in the race, and that was down
Yeah, and so
to
and so
his
what I'm
poor
saying is that
start.
at the start,
Yeah,
so the mistake that Norris made was at the start, he focused on trying to he actually came out ahead of Verstappen, but then Verstappen
yes,
started pushing and he focused on pushing Verstappen out rather than keep going. And to his left, to his surprise, Russell passed him. Then when Russell passed him to his left and Verstappen very smartly went into the grass but came back, Norris had nowhere to go.
yes,
And I'm not going to say he made a mistake, but
Yeah,
when
no,
you have
no, no. He
go
made a
ahead.
mistake.
Yeah,
He made a
yeah,
mistake. He should have
yeah.
what he should have done was to cover the racing line so that whatever situation is, he will have the better
Yeah,
exit
thank
into
you.
the
So,
control
Bjorn,
stop.
thank you. So, what he should have done is rather than trying to push,
Push Mark out of the way,
he should have
yeah.
just kept on going straight and cover his
Straight and
line,
maintain the racing line, yeah.
especially on that track, which is very wide. Don't worry
Yeah,
about and so that was a mistake that he made. He didn't
it
cover
was a
all ground.
strategic error.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you look at the opening lap, you could see that when he now made that mistake and Max came back, and Russell passed two of them. Then when him and Max were side by side, he had to brake late. If not, he would have crashed into Max, and he had
Yeah,
to allow
and also, and can
Max
I
go
say
through.
something?
That was what
Can I
cost
say
him the
something?
win.
Thank you, Bjorn. We're gonna go back to you. Can I say something? He tried to close the door on Max, but
Yeah,
he did not give Max enough space. And I heard and him are friends, and he's talking about I gave Max enough space. He didn't. He should, like you said, he should have focused on his line and everything else. What I think is he panicked. What do you think? Yeah.
yeah, he panicked. He knew he got it wrong, and he just had to back out. And if you look at it,
Yeah.
that decision that he made in the first corner, it directly cost him the
And
race win.
also, Bjorn, um, Norris had a good launch, so there was no reason for him to try to. He says he gave enough space. There was no reason for him to break his line to push Verstappen. It means he's worried that I need to get this guy out of the way. If he had just kept his line, that wouldn't have happened. So what I'm saying is that not only he panicked ahead of time because he had a good launch. His launch was okay. His
Yeah.
initial start was okay. But then when he saw Verstappen, to me, if he had kept his line, then it would have been on Verstappen, and Verstappen will be the one at fault if he hits him. What do you think? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It would have been both of them would have crashed, and I think he was just trying to avoid contact,
Yeah,
having and just give up that position. But he will learn from that going into future
yeah, and
races.
I'm not trying to hate on Norris. I'm just saying that and thank you for saying that because we have to give him some of the blame. But when we give blame, it's not that we're insulting someone. We're just saying what they could do better
Yeah,
next
yeah,
time, especially
yeah,
when you have the faster cars. Let's go back to Russell. Russell is a fighter. He's a racer. He's not afraid of anybody. He doesn't show for anybody. Brilliant start. What hurt Russell with Hamilton? Hamilton and Russell to me are equally matched. But what hurt him was he was on the hard tires and Hamilton was on the soft later in the race. What are your thoughts, Beardon? Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I think if you look at the race, most of the top three teams, McLaren, Red Bull, Ferrari, and Mercedes, all had split strategies with their drivers. And if you look at the race result, you see that the driver that was ahead of his teammate that actually was ahead of the teammate that was below him actually was on the soft medium soft, while the ones that were chasing their teammate was on the soft
Yeah, and
soft
that's fair.
soft
So that's fair.
medium hard. So both every team splitted their strategy due to the various tire choices that were
And
available
also
by
Hamilton won the privilege of getting the soft because he came first in the qualifying. But last time it was Russell.
yeah.
So I don't want to hear any more story about sabotage. Yeah, both guys very and also something that happened. Russell, I said this earlier. When Russell also made, I think I won't say he made an error because when you're a racer. But strategically, maybe he should have just allowed Norris to pass him because that tied him up and also cost him a couple of tenths of second. What do you think? Yeah, by trying
Who?
to when Russell
Hamilton.
no Russell when Russell tried to fight Norris when Norris passed him, it actually also
Okay.
it cost him some. But it goes split ways because you don't when you're a racer, you don't let somebody pass you. But maybe
Easily, yeah.
from a strategic point of view, he needs to know that the McLaren car is much faster and it's just a matter of time. So he should have just let Norris pass him instead of fighting him. But that's impossible. No racer
I
will
won't
do that.
say that. I won't say that no racer would do that, like you said. But I think Mercedes actually believed they had the pace in the car to compete with other teams.
Yeah,
And
they
if you look
believe.
at it, they were
But I
not
think
far off.
it's clear that they don't have the pace though. It's clear because that's why Verstappen was able to pass Russell even though he got ahead. You get my point?
Yeah. They are still lacking in pace a bit, but they are not far off now. I think the upgrades
They're
have
not.
come
Yeah,
into the
yeah, they're
races
not
has
far.
really helped the performance of the car. But I think that is what every team is all about. Every team wants to fight for position,
Yeah,
fight for
and
points.
and
And I think
and
he
I
didn't want to do it because he knew at least he would definitely fight for P2 rather than just giving
Yeah,
up the.
and I think the main reason Lewis won was beat him was because of the softer tires. And I'm not taking sides because I think both of them are equally as fast as each other. But it was a good race, and I was happy to see Hamilton win. Now, very funny. Did you hear the story where during the press conference, Verstappen said, Norris didn't give me enough pace. He said, Norris said, I gave you pace. And Verstappen said, Norris, you need glasses. Then Hamilton and Verstappen started laughing. You heard that, right?
I saw something like that.
Yeah. But I'm not also dissing Norris. But Norris, he did well. But it's clear that McLaren right now is the most versatile car in Formula One. They can drive on slow speed tracks and they can drive on high speed.
Yeah.
Red Bull has even fallen behind them on the high speed tracks. And this goes back to what you said, Biodun. Never bet against Russell. Never against Verstappen. I think it's even good that the Red Bull car is slow now because now it's proven that Verstappen is the reason they're winning. It's not the car. What do you think, Biodun?
Yeah. I think if you look at it, I think McLaren will be kicking themselves that they did not win the Spanish Grand Prix. I think they were the faster car on track. They had the best pace. If you look at the lap times, they were fastest in sector one. Lando cut down Max Verstappen and 9-second lead to 2 seconds from lap 56 to like 66. So in 10 laps, Lando cut down 9 seconds by 7 seconds, and he would have caught up with Max if
Yeah.
there were a couple
And
of laps left in that race.
he had fresher tires.
Yes.
Also, yeah. What do you think? Do you think that Lando?
Tires? He didn't have fresher tires. He was using the used
soft.
Soft.
So that shows how good his tire management. Yeah, because I remember
soft. Why
so
Lando
maybe
was using the used soft. So McLaren was still faster.
So what would have happened though if Lando had covered Max and stopped earlier, and his tires would have been even fresher? You get my point. But that's we don't know. We don't know.
He was racing. I remember when George pitted in lap 18 and the team was asking Lando, do you want to pit now to cover George? He said no, that he's racing Max. So
and all of them are racers yet. They're all racers, yeah.
He now pitted in lap 23. So he was actually racing Max, but unfortunately for him, he just ran out of lap times. And I think that he had with George Russell also cost him the race, as well as what happened in the opening lap of the race. But I think if you look at it, I think Lando dominated. But to be fair, I think, yes, McLaren car was the fastest, but you have to give kudos to the consistency of Max Verstappen. Despite the car not being where the car should be, Max Verstappen was consistent in meeting up the various lap time, particularly in the first sector. It was maintaining a 23-2, 23-2, 23-1, 23-3.
Yeah, Fiona, you keep taking my points. You keep taking my points. Verstappen, the last 10 laps, consistent. Same time, no unforced errors. And what you just said, Biodun, points out to why Verstappen is the champion. Because at his age at 27, he's not making unforced errors anymore. If it was me, I would be like, oh boy, I have to go shit.
You have to clap for Max. But kudos to Lando too. Lando too was consistent.
Lando he pushed. And the only thing I will say is that the mistake that Lando made at the beginning of the race, where he didn't keep his line. What are your thoughts, Falabi, before I get back to Biodun, about what we said?
You guys are absolutely spot on. Max won the race despite not having the quickest car. The quicker car was
Yep.
the McLaren car, but he showcased his defensive skills under a lot of pressure from Lando. And I think it wasn't just Lando Norris' mistake at the beginning. It was also due to George Russell's brilliance at the beginning that played into Max Verstappen's.
Yeah, because if Russell hadn't had that great start, Lando Norris might have gotten away with not keeping his line and pushing Verstappen. Yeah, continue.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And McLaren showed a lot of superior straight line speeds. I was really, really impressed when I watched the replay of the race all over again. It just shows that the gap is narrowing between McLaren and Red Bull.
Yeah. But have you noticed that as the gap narrows, Verstappen becomes more perfect?
Absolutely.
Because he knows that
So, but one thing Red Bull has is that when their car falls short, they have a brilliant driver that always closes the gap and ensures that at the end of the day, you guys were talking about time management and consistency. That guy is just a brilliant driver.
And I would say that Norris has better tire management than Verstappen, but Verstappen, he doesn't make any errors. To me, I'm going to go to your video. The difference between this race was one error that Norris made, which was he didn't follow his line, which you stated. Would you agree, Beardon? Yeah.
Yes, I think that was it. That was what cost him the race.
Yeah.
I think if Norris had held on to P1 track position, he would have won the race because he would have just extended the pace and controlled the pace and outpaced. Because
and so that's the thing. So what Verstappen is doing is that he's just not making errors. Now also, Bearden, unacceptable. George Russell, 5 seconds. His team gave him 5 seconds for one lap stop and 3 seconds. 8 seconds. That's too long. Whereas Verstappen is getting 4 seconds for 2 lap stops. You understand what I'm saying? When they change,
from the tire at the garage to change the tire. Yeah, I think it's just the mechanical.
They're losing 4 seconds to Red Bull on the tire stop.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I think
and
it was just it's one of those things in Formula One. The rear back tire refused to come off. It just happens sometimes. I know these mechanics in the garage. They practice those drills.
They need to do better. Yeah. Okay, so guys, this has been a great show. Formula One fanatics, like and subscribe. We're still going.
Guys, speaking about tire management, I think it was tire management that proved to be the downfall of Ferrari. Really, they just had tires almost throughout.
You beat me because I was going to talk bad about Ferrari, but continue.
Yes, I think it was their choice of hard tires that proved to be suboptimal and affected them at the end of the day. And then our friend Sergio Perez improved from 11th to 8th. But his standards have dropped significantly.
But let me tell you the truth.
Yeah,
I disagree with Beardon because Beardon blames Perez, but I think Perez he's a mix between he's happy because he has money, but also the Red Bull car is not good. It's just not good this year. What do you think of Beardon? Yeah.
How can we say the Red Bull car is not good and Max is still winning?
Yeah, but I think Max is pushing it. He's pushing. I think that it's not good. Okay, let me change it. Beardon, let me change.
Better should be P5.
Okay, Beardon, let me change my thesis, Beardon. The Red Bull car is good, but it's high strung. Like what Kunle Williams said, it's very high strung, like a thoroughbred horse. So if you're not able to manage it very well, you can lose control of it. Would you agree? Yeah.
I blame Red Bull. They shouldn't have offered him a new contract.
No. But Beardon, they did it because Max Verstappen. Because Checo brings in almost $1 billion of revenue for their team. That's why they kept him. I think
he's also happy being number 2 to Max. They don't want anybody that upsets Max and start.
And I've said it before. Red Bull doesn't.
It was a compensation too for sticking to Christian Horner when it was all that shit.
But let me say something. To be honest with you. And Verstappen is a great racer. He shouldn't be afraid of anybody. They should have brought Sainz. And if they didn't bring Sainz, they should have brought Tsunoda. What do you think, Beardon? Yeah.
Definitely, yes. We know Max might not be afraid of anybody, but every driver wants to be assured of that you are number 1. Every driver wants to be assured that in terms of strategy and benefits of upgrade, you are priority. You are priority in terms of strategy.
And that's the same thing. That's the same thing with Schumacher. Schumacher would not tolerate a race. So let's go quickly. Beardon, let's go quickly to
when he's
Go ahead,
racing
go
and
ahead.
you tell him, if Max is racing and you tell him, let Checo pass, Max will say, I've told you, I've given my reasons, I don't do that. And he will not let Checo pass him, even if
No,
he's underperforming.
he won't. And he earns it because Max Verstappen came into when he was 17, they already knew he was going to become a champion. And Mercedes dropped the ball by not signing him in 2015.
But they said Toto is working really hard to get into Mercedes. So I don't
Okay,
know
but
how
here's
to.
what I have to say. So thank you for bringing that up. Mercedes will have a powerful engine in 2026. But Beard don't agree with me. These guys don't focus on grip and aerodynamics. And they're going to struggle if they don't start focusing on that. They just want to rely on a powerful engine. So what
Power
happens is
engine.
when there's a switch over, the rest of the teams will be behind, like when Lewis Hamilton came because of the power engine. But they don't work on grip and aerodynamics. Where I think the best team that works on both now is McLaren. What do you think, Beard? Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And if you see, those things are actually helping McLaren in terms of air degradation and tire management.
Yeah. So what I want to say is that if Toto Wolff wants Verstappen, I don't want Verstappen to go to Mercedes because he may win one year and then he'll start losing because Mercedes doesn't focus. They only focus on engine. That's it.
Yeah.
They don't focus on downforce, balance, curbing, and those things. And they need to do that. What are your thoughts? But I think he may have to go. But I think that Red Bull, if they can get enough money, they can buy a team around them to solve problems. So what would you do if you were?
I don't think he will go. I don't think he
Yeah.
will go.
But I think they really want him. Yeah. And if I were him,
for Hamilton though, going to Ferrari, I'm really.
I think it depends on his.
But also,
I think it depends.
Let's
on
go
his
to Ferrari.
Really.
Let's switch to Ferrari now. Building Ferrari is rubbish. They're rubbish.
I'm scared for Hamilton. I'm scared for Hamilton. Go.
No, they're rubbish. And also Leclerc. Leclerc is making complaints, talking about he was complaining about Sainz. Sainz gave him space. There was a little conflict, but Sainz got out of the way. What are your thoughts, Building? Yeah.
I think that's just a proper racing incident, and the stewards got it right. There was no penalty.
Yeah, because Leclerc started after Leclerc won Monaco. He thought that he was the man, but Monaco is a slow speed procession.
Slow speed track now.
Yeah. So yeah. So
track the Ferrari, man.
I'm scared for Hamilton too.
That is all I want. Race wins should be competitive. That's why I'm angry at McLaren. You had the ball in your court and you still dropped the ball. Red Bull was not fast in speed, and you still can't win Red Bull. Oh my God.
If Mercedes continues on this trajectory, they might catch up with Leclerc on the standings.
No, I don't think so because they don't have enough speed. What do you think, Beaton? Do you think they can catch? Maybe they can. Beaton, what do you think? Yeah. Maybe they can.
The thing with the fastest top speed right now is McLaren. I know McLaren was doing well over 328 with DRS in Spain. Why Red Bull
but also Beaton, they actually said that Haas and Red Bull had the highest max speed at like 338, but not consistently. Yeah. But not consistently throughout the whole race. Yeah, that was just for like practice.
With DRS. Yeah, with DRS.
But guys, what happened to Piastri?
I don't know.
It's one of those races. He just got lost. I think he had a poor qualifying. That was what killed him.
Yeah. Okay, so guys, very quickly, we have another thing to do, but let's make our prediction for Austria. For me, on paper, McLaren should win Austria. But once again, don't bet against Verstappen. What are your thoughts, Bearden? Yeah.
I think I would say McLaren are favorites to win in Austria, but it's a home race for Red Bull. It's a home race for Max, and I think Red Bull would definitely win.
And also, Bearden, I'm not saying that Red Bull is cheating, but they added some things which should have been upgrades to Verstappen's car. The back wing, the back floating thing for downforce. It helps. This is Formula One is so corrupt, but they do it for every team though, because that was not regulated. I don't think that was regulated at all. What do you think?
No, there are regulations for it, but definitely, I know that the FIA would have other things would have raised petitions if there was a breach in that. But I think going into the Austria, I think the weather is a factor in Austria. You can't predict whether it will be too hot or it will be too cold.
And once again, tire management is going to be important.
It's going to be interesting, like what we saw in Canada. Yeah, it was Canada we had rain. So it's going to be the Austria race might be something like what we saw in Canada. But let's see. I think it favors McLaren to win because the track is not so long
Yeah. But can I say one thing? If Verstappen wins this next race, we have to put him at the same level as Senna. I still think Schumacher is the best all round because Schumacher may not be.
He should win his fourth world championship before we put him beside Senna.
No, he's going to win this year. No, I think Verstappen's going to win, even if he loses the rest races, because he had a great start to the year. You understand what I'm saying? But you're right, because there's still a half a season. So to me, either Norris or Verstappen will win this year. What do you think? Yeah.
That is it. I think those are the two most likely possibilities.
Yeah.
I think an outsider can be a Mercedes, but is out of reach.
Okay,
but
so guys,
could be interesting. I just want the season to end with
another thing. To me, McLaren is going to win the constructor.
Yeah, I think they should win the constructor, and that's why I keep lamenting that Sergio Perez needs to be flogged. But both of you keep defending him because he's costing Red Bull points. It's just Max that is giving the Red Bull team maximum points.
It should be flogged. I think I agree with you now.
I agree. Okay. So guys, this is Formula One Fanatics. Thank you for watching what we're doing. We do counter narratives where we give you insight that you won't see on the other shows. Please like and subscribe.